Hello, hello, and welcome to another Mac84 live stream. I'm Steve from Mac84, and you may have just came from another one of my live streams. Just splitting this off here to make sure that we get everything organized. And I'm back, and we currently have, YouTube is lying to me. We have a bunch of viewers, let's just say that. So thank you very much for those of you who jumped onto this live stream. Hopefully that did not lose a bunch of you. Looks like I did. There's about 15 people. Oops! But I wanted to make sure that this video is a bit separate from the other topics that we were looking at, because it is a very cursed Macintosh, and I think that that is something that will get maybe a lot of views. I don't know, but yes, two live streams in one thing. Maybe that was a mistake splitting them off. But anyway, we're here. We're going to be looking at a Macintosh SE30 from none other than Sean of Action Retro. Big fan of Sean's channel. He's an excellent human being. He had a very cursed Macintosh SE30, which I'm sure most of you know the whole history about. And if you have not seen that, go to Action Retro on YouTube, look him up, take a look at those videos. Quite a saga of him picking up this very strange Macintosh SE30 and then just doing whatever he wanted to it as far as modifications went. But it did need some recapping, and he did send that board to me. Thank you very much, Sean, for doing that. And I got that all cleaned up to him, sent it back, and it's living its best cursed life. Let's just say that. But when I met up with Sean at VCF East in, not VCF East, the convention, but the VCF East swap meet in April of 2021, he passed along another goodie for me to look at. And this is yet another cursed Macintosh SE30. So, yeah. So we're going to be taking a look at this today. We're going to be seeing how cursed it is. Hopefully not too much, but yeah. Looks like it's showing up as unlisted. Oh my goodness, YouTube, you silly thing. Let's see if we can fix that here. Public. Done. Save. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why it was doing that, but live and learn. Alright, so let's get this out of the box here. Thank you very much for letting me know that. And we got some packaging here. We'll move that off to the side there. You're very welcome, Sean. Alright, so let's take a look at this board. It's probably because I duplicated from a stream that, I don't know, maybe it was unlisted. I was feverishly clicking around. So, at first glance, yeah, we got some interesting stuff on this board, so we're going to look at this under the microscope. Doesn't look too horrible. The caps have definitely been leaking. Yeah. But we have a good amount of memory in here. We have 64 megs of RAM, and we have a ROM sim in there. So thank you very much for the donation, Sean. No. This stream is for OnlyFans. Oh, Sean, that dad joke that you made in your latest video was absolutely hilarious. Alright, so we're going to remove the ROM sim and the memory modules off of this board, so we can start looking at this. And Sean's board has the plastic clips with the memory in them, which is always fun. Some of these machines were lucky enough to ship with metal clips. Unfortunately, we are not so lucky today. So what I'm going to be doing is just pointing the camera down like that. Whoops, maybe. Oop, come on. Oop, yeah, maybe. Oop, nope. Camera's like, I'm not having it. I want to jump off the table and join the circus. Well, there we go. All right, so we're gonna cross our fingers as we remove the memory modules from their plastic clips here. No matter how many times I do this, no matter how careful I am, I'm always worried. The fun part is you have to reinsert this stuff again and again just to test the board. But there we go. Alright, so put those memory modules off to the side, along with the ROM sim, and we're going to get a better look at this. I know, Bruce, I know. Shh. Maybe he won't notice. Maybe I'll just give him back, some 1 meg sims. You only need 4 megs for an SE30. You should be fine. It's cursed. That's why it's not registering the extra memory. That's And suddenly all of my repair jobs have gone out the window. People think I'm serious. Alright, so let's take a look at this thing. Now we got back to 30 viewers, so we're almost where we were going to be. We jumped ship there. That was probably a mistake. Oh well. Alright, so let's take a look at what we got going on here. It would help if you guys could see through the microscope as well. So let's switch that over. And yeah. Nope, he's just making fun of their name. Okay, so yeah, we have a lot of dust and grime on here, and what looks to be capacitor fluid, which is not surprising given the age of these machines. And just, yeah, see, this is all like dust and dirt and grime, and what happens is when these caps leak, everything gets a little sticky, and this dust and dirt likes to attach itself to these areas. Aesthetically challenged. Yeah, we got some green here. Yum yum yum. Yeah, this guy is definitely gonna have to go through the ultrasonic cleaner here. And there's an extra fee for the cursed systems because they curse my machines too. Let's take a look at... Oh, yeah, we got some green on these chips. So, if I recall correctly, Sean, you said this did work, and then it didn't. And that's, well, very much a lot of the symptoms that we get. Oh, my goodness. This is just... Look at this. Look at... Oh, my goodness, Sean. This is cursed. What have you done to this poor machine? Oh, there's just green everywhere. You got some corrosive bits touching other bits. You got, like, cap juice all over the place. Yeah, this is a... Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, that's lovely. I could taste that. Yum. A totally normal case. This is cursed for different reasons. Not because of the modifications, but because of the... Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, this is going to be fun on a bun. Oof. Yeah, it's just like this yucky, gooey stuff everywhere on this board. There's not even any caps near there. So these probably were, you know, at a slight angle, and the cap juice made its way over there. But lovely. Excellent. I tell you, I got my work cut out for me. This will definitely be a multi-part stream, because this will have to go through the ultrasonic cleaner at least once. I mean, look at this. And my hat's off to you, sir. I think this is one of the worst ones I've seen. Certificate of exorcism. Can you please write P.S. Angel? All right, so you guys. I think Sean's already aware of how badly we want that Macintosh clone fixed. Because I personally want the Macintosh clone fixed. Because, you know, I want to feature a machine like that in one of my upcoming clone videos, and hopefully I'll be able to get some footage from Sean. So Eep, thank you very much for the super chat, but don't worry, he is well aware of our love for that clone, and maybe on the terms of release of this Macintosh is that we get to play around with the Macintosh clone. I'm sure Sean wants to get that to work. Those clones usually used very questionable parts because they were trying to be cheap, so the power supplies were just off-the-shelf units. Oh yeah, these chips, oh gosh, you know, they're just off-the-shelf units and had a pretty high failure rate from what I understand. I don't know where this came from, Sean. I don't know where the history of this machine was, but whoever had this treated it rough. Oh, this poor little guy. Let's see how this cap is all the way on the side here. Oh, yeah, that's disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, I told the story before, but I once repaired a computer for somebody who was... Oh, look at this cap! This cap isn't even attached anymore. Is it? Well, it was kind of moving around before. I swear this moved. Well, anyway, it is attached. It's still kind of? Yeah, it's still touch. Anyway, I fixed a PC for a smoker once and opened up the case, and brown sticky dust everywhere, and of course I got immediately sick from it. I had bronchitis or strep or sore throat or some horrible reaction, whatever you want to call it. I was sick, had to take steroids and all this stuff to get better, and I missed the first week of my new job because I decided to take on that PC repair. And the thing is, the PC was overheating, and that was because of the lovely thermal intake system on that particular Dell machine. So I had to open it up, get all the dust out, and I must have got sick during that. Fun times. All right, yeah, this is sort of bringing back some of that those memories, but not as dusty. But you can just see this cap juice or whatever garbage that is in between these legs is probably shorting stuff out. It's probably not doing what it... Well, it's probably doing bad stuff. Let's just say that. Angel, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but the certificates I do are pretty much my own thing. I don't put anybody else's names on there or anything like that. I greatly appreciate your support. Eep! Thank you very much. But I am doing my own thing with that. You told me you were going to try and run AUX on it. Looked at me like I was speaking Klingon. Ain't nobody got time for that. That is absolutely correct, Bruce. Yeah, let's zoom into this one. Just want to show you guys how lovely this is. Just look at that. That is lovely. That is absolutely lovely. Yes, leave the smoking to the reefer caps. So yeah, this will definitely need a good ultrasonic clean. But let's try and get these caps off. What the heck are we doing? We gotta get these caps off of his. All right, so let's give ourselves some space here. All right, this is gonna be a nasty one. I can tell. I can tell. Throwing an acid bath. No, we want the computer to work. So Sean, you said this worked fairly recently, and then it just keeled over. We could see why, but I'm surprised it worked that long. Oh, I will translate the smell as best I can. Ooh, it smells like horribleness. That is dead fish mixed with old dust and probably skin cells. And thank you, Sean, for this lovely, lovely opportunity. Whew. Well, awesome. Next. Fume extractor. What's a fume extractor? Let's get this fan over here. Guys looking out for my personal health. Okay, we appear to be back. And of course, like half of our viewers on bye-bye. Don't know what that was about. Hopefully we're back. Yeah, so I'm getting all green from OBS over here. All of a sudden, YouTube went to buffering mode for some reason, because I have a preview of the stream here. And I went to Gmail, I went to Google.com, I went to Google News. None of it was working. None of it. Maybe they had a DNS hiccup, or I don't know. I'm blaming it on this cursed stream and this cursed Macintosh. And all the viewers went bye-bye, so Everything looked fine from OBS's end, so I think YouTube was having a bit of a senior moment there. But nothing I can do about that. The internet speed test was fine, so I don't think it was anything on my end. I'm happy to blame YouTube. Alright, back into this nonsensical whatever the heck we're doing here. So I'm going to remove this battery, which looks like it's a new one. Sean, do you want me to replace this battery with a tried and true Mac cell? You know, just for that authentic experience? I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, sorry that there was that hiccup there. That was YouTube. It was not me, I assure you. Something went wrong with their connections or whatever, but we're back now. You didn't miss anything, except me going, why is everyone saying it's buffering? With our fancy heat-resistant tape by the battery connector here. Cover that label there. I realized I did not grab a decent picture of this board yet. Yeah, YouTube might need some recapping. Let me just move that away for a second. Let's do one with the flash. Again, awful photos, but whatever. You just noticed my shirt. Yes! Rocko's Modern Life. Love that show. Turtle on his back in the sun. Turtle on his back in the sun. Where'd I put that tape? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Just had it. Here it is. Right in front of me. Alright, so. Yes, I think YouTube was very jealous of the love that I was giving Apache Thunder's logic board and now Action Retro's logic board. It's like, why can't I be loved like that? Alright, so we're just putting some tape on here. Try and reduce the amount of heat as I'm going to touch these things. And where is that? There's the PCI guy there. We'll try and make this quick and painless to reduce the amount of heat that is going to these spots. Oh, this one smells worse. How is that possible? Ugh. Yeah, that was a leaky one. Ugh, look at that. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yes, this had a pretty good marinade on it, I would say, Sean. So go good with a good wine of, 1989, I'd say. Delish. Disgusting. Alright, so let's... Adam is back! Oh, this one's crusty. This one will not come quietly, I don't think. take my scalpel here. I'm going to stab the beast. Boy, I'm not cutting this off the board. I'm just puncturing the plastic there, so this thing doesn't explode and hit me with cap juice in my eye. We're going to need more flux on there, I think, because this is not happy. This is a stubborn one. I could just tell by the amount of lack of solder I saw that this was going to be a pain in the butt. And it is not budging at all. There we go. Finally. Wouldn't even get off the darn tweezers. My goodness. The cleanest SC34. This is look at that. Just like, oh, it didn't even melt that well. It's just like all, oh my goodness. I hope this Kapton tape did its job. Yes, it did. Look at that. All the heat we applied and that little heat shield prevented this lovely PDS slot from getting any nasty plastic going on there. But no, we do not want to twist off capacitors, especially on a board of this age. Now, if you were working on something else and you didn't care what happened to it, it was just a practice board, you want to twist things off, I can't stop you, but I would highly recommend you don't do that. When people see videos of people like the 8-bit guy twisting off caps and stuff, and you have to understand that these things are not new. You know, this stuff is 25, 30 years old. These machines have been through a lot. The solder is not fresh. You do not want to go around pulling and prodding and twisting things, and running a very real risk of them simply ripping off a bunch of traces and causing you a bunch of extra work. You do not want to do that. I charge more for it. Somebody tried to send me a board once. They're like, oh yeah, it works fine, I just need you to recap it. And I'm like, okay. I get it, and I look at the board and I'm like, huh, this looks like somebody had a go at it already. And look at all the traces that were ripped off. And of course, when I confronted them, they're like, oh yeah, I tried it, but I thought I did an okay job. I didn't think you would notice. Son, I'm looking at this under a microscope. If I didn't notice, I wouldn't be doing my job. And these look quite crusty as well. Hopefully they won't give us as much trouble. These are going to be fun. I could tell. Oh! That one did a bit of a pop. Make sure that doesn't do anything any further. There we go. Pop goes the weasel. Yes, 2 streams, 1 night, double feature. Oh, there's so much green on the side of this one chip, Sean. My goodness. So this is Sean, Action Retro's SE30 logic board. He had yet another cursed one for me to look at, so that's what we're doing here today. And if this was left any longer, my goodness, I'd be worried for the the usability of this machine afterwards. But my goodness. It's not Sean's fault, of course. You know, these caps leak. That's just what they do. Especially at this age. And that's why you want to get these machines recapped. Either try it yourself or send it to somebody like myself or Bruce from Breakers Creations, etc. to get these old caps off of the board, get the board clean. Because even if you remove the caps, if you leave that cap juice on there, it's going to just screw things up for the next pair of capacitors that you put on there. So you want to make sure everything is thoroughly removed. So that should be okay. That tape did its job very well. Alright, now it's time to get these guys off, this little forest of capacitors here. It is Sean's fault. What about the gray barrel there? Can that leak? That's, that little barrel, that's a, with the Y on it. Bruce will refresh my memory. No, that doesn't have any electrolytics in it. That won't leak. So this small little capacitor here should come off fairly easily. At least they usually do. Crystal, yeah, whatever whatever the Y signifies on the logic board. I think it's a crystal or something. And the comment section 5 years from now will still be correcting me. Right, so let's try and get this guy off. But the question was, do those leak? And I don't believe they have electrolytics in there, so I don't think there's a risk of them leaking. There go my tweezers. Crystal oscillator. Thank you very much, Bruce. I knew it was something with an O, and I forgot the word oscillator. True story. Alright, so that one came off, but look at all the lovely leakage below it. Delicious. Delicious. Yeah, if crystals leak, we're in for a lot of trouble. Very well said. Very well said. Alright, so let's try and get this bad boy off of here. Come on. I think we're going to need some more flux here. These caps love to stick to these tweezers. Alright, so we have one more stubborn cap to remove off of this board, and that is right here. Now, I just want to talk very briefly about this cap and its location, because you see this row of chips here? These are the U blank 8 chips. You know, it could be UE8, UD8, UF8, etc. Now, a lot of people on the Macintosh forums say, or the discussion groups, wherever you are, replace UE8. You got to replace UE8. That's because what happens is this cap leaks, and you could see this cap is right next to this chip here, and go boom. It could just destroy the pins here. It could fry the chip. It could short it out, do whatever. So, especially on a board like this, especially the state that a lot of these chips are in, they don't look the prettiest here. Maybe they'll clean up, but we might have to replace a few of them because of the loveliness that has occurred on this board already. So, just a heads up about that. Oof, that sounds like fun there, Toby. Good luck. Alright, so let's take an attempt at this. Now this will be a board where, even if I recap it, I'm not going to test it just because of the state of those chips. You know, we'll ultrasonically clean it, and we'll probably do another stream where we test it, but... Those caps love to stick to the end of my tweezers. Alright. Yeah, that one wasn't pretty. Oof, look at all this. All of this. Absolutely disgusting. Thank you very much, Ron, from Ron's Computer Videos. Yes, this board needs a spa day. Thank you very much, Ron, for the super chat. Eep! If you have not checked out Ron has some excellent YouTube videos. He did one recently where he looked at replacement drive sleds, because a lot of the Power Macintosh and 68K machines of a certain period use these plastic drive sleds, and of course those plastics are getting so brittle that you could just snap them with your fingers. He did a review of a 3D printed one that he got, and it was pretty fantastic. Go check out his channel, give him a subscribe, do what you have to do, because he has some excellent content, and he could use some more subscribers. I don't know, I know he's fairly young in the YouTube game, I guess you could say, or maybe he's not, maybe I'm lying, but he needs more subscribers. Go subscribe to Ron's Computer thingamajig on the YouTubes. Because Ron's Computer Videos is where it's at. I almost said Ron's Computer Museum, but that comes later. Great smoke. Oh, boy. Okay, yeah, so that chip still needs a lot of cleaning done. But at least we got all the caps off. So what we're going to be doing is turning off the heat gun here. Get this power plug over here. Got 60 viewers. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for stopping by. I assume maybe Sean tweeted this out, or maybe he put it on his YouTube community thing. Or if he didn't, he should have. Wink. So what I'm going to be doing is getting all of the old solder that is just disgusting off of this board. But before that, we're gonna clean this up a little bit, because it's quite nasty. Quite nasty. Let's get our toothbrush here, get some of our isopropyl alcohol. You sure did. Excellent. Thank you. And we're going to try and clean the heck out of this board here. Now this will still go through the ultrasonic cleaner, but my goodness, just look at this. Just look at this green. Sean, what have you done? Thank you very much, Justin. Eep. Yes, I may need a spa day after recapping this board. And Ron, if I didn't give you an eep, there's an eep for you. Whenever somebody gives a super chat, I have the luxurious, not ability, privilege, there we go, of giving everybody my rendition of a wild eep. And if you don't know what a wild eep is, it was the system sound that Apple had for the longest time. And then they removed it in macOS 9 or so because they were a bunch of silly peoples. Don't know why. The highest amount of viewers in a stream? Close to 90 or 100. I forget what stream that was. It was quite an event. I think everyone was just bored. But we have about 50 or 60 people here, so thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by. If you are not subscribed to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. I have to think about something for my 7,000 subscriber giveaway or something along those lines, because we're going to reach that milestone soon. That's quite exciting. I mean, it's just numbers, but numbers are fun. Counting is fun. Alright, so we're going to put some more isopropyl alcohol here. My board is just having a bad hair day. I don't know where all this hair came from. Sean, was your cat living inside the SE30 by any chance? Just a thought. Eep! Thank you very much for the super chat there, Sean. It's greatly appreciated. Oh, boy. Yeah, so this is having its own little spa day, but this will go through the ultrasonic cleaner. But I just want to show you how much dirt is being picked up by this little cotton bud, cotton swab, Q-tip, whatever you want to call it. Look at that. Oof. Oof. Yes, and I do have a Patreon if you would like to support me. I only have my lowest tier, rather, is what I'm going to say. Starts at $1 a month, but it gives you access to behind-the-scenes content and a bunch of other stuff. You get previews of my videos before they go live. I do exclusive videos that are only available on there for my patrons. And I think everybody who is supporting me knows that you get a lot of bang for your buck there, because I'll post draft versions of videos. This is actually cleaning up quite nice just with some elbow grease here. So maybe we will be able to test this. What do you say? I think there's a good possibility, maybe. But yes, the funds I get from Patreon go directly to buying tools, buying supplies. They also go into my archiving efforts. I am a huge supporter of the MacintosGarden.org website, as well as the Internet Archive. I like to archive and back up things like books, discs, manuals, anything related to computer history that I have, I like to back up, and I like to make sure that it's preserved for future generations. Stuff like rare Apple installer discs, drivers for things that no longer exist that people are looking for, manuals for such devices, and so. So that's my spiel. There you go. See, the board is totally clean underneath all the gums. Yes. The car totally runs fine if you take the engine out, you know? That's not rust, that's just paint. That's just paint. Oh my goodness. Just catch up on the chat here. Donate $20 or more and Steve gently... No, Michael. We're not doing that. We're not doing anything like that. My goodness. Yeah, cleaning it up, it doesn't look too bad. Test? Well, hello, Alex. Now the heat gun is off, so the heat isn't getting to me. That's not why I'm insane. There's plenty of other reasons. Oh my goodness, just look at that. Oof. Oof. Yuck, 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 yuck. Yeah, that is awful. That is absolutely awful. Yeah, so we're just cleaning up, especially around these chips. Man, I've never seen like chips facing away from the capacitors on all sides getting this amount of corrosion. I mean, that's like a badge of honor, Sean. Well done. Don't do it again, but you did the thing. Have you ever repaired an Apple One? No, I do not own an Apple One. Those are so those machines like the Apple One, the Apple II. I think they're mostly through-hole capacitors, if not all through-hole. There's no surface mount stuff like that, especially on the Apple One. Depending on the Apple II, you might, there's a mix of things. But the Apple One is one of those machines. First off, it's silly expensive to have one. And if you have one, you could probably, you're probably into doing it yourself, or you have paid someone years ago to do it. But yeah, those machines don't have the types of problems that these do. Those capacitors are larger, they're easier to replace, more of a user serviceable machine because they were handmade. These have surface mount electronics. They have capacitors that are of dubious age, and they have batteries that like to explode. Not saying that the Apple IIs are much easier, but in a sense, they have their own different things going on there. So, yeah. The oldest machine I've fixed up and recapped was not an Apple at all. Who remembers the stream I did? Anybody around here remember the stream I did? Who wants to guess the oldest machine that I have repaired? And I'll give you a hint. It's not an Apple. It's not an Apple. But if you were to look up Apple in the phone book, you wouldn't have to go far to find the company that made the computer that I fixed. That was the oldest computer that I found. Older than my Apples. Wasn't a Commodore 64. Good guess, though. A solid guess. My goodness, this is disgusting. Wasn't an Osborne. Wasn't an Amstrad. Wasn't an Acorn. We didn't get those over here in the United States, or if we did, I was not aware of them. It was not those. Not an Altair. Atari. Max got it right. It was an Atari. It was an Atari 800. And I think I did a pretty good video on that. It didn't get a lot of views, but I had fun doing it. And sort of like an 8-bit guy inspired video because there's a lot of music in there. But that was made in 1977. That computer. And so that is the oldest machine I recapped. I had to recap the power supply, the analog, the power board, whatever you want to call it. And then I had to go ahead and recap some of the main motherboard, logic board. I called it a logic board like once in the video, and I got a comment. On the Atari, it's called a main logic. It's not called a main logic board. It's called a motherboard. The Ataris don't have a logic board. Yeah, you know exactly what I meant, so you didn't have to leave a comment at all, because that's just silly. Yeah, so you can actually see the brown marks being wiped away on this board as this is being cleaned. So yeah, this will still need an ultrasonic clean, but I like to clean these up as best as I can before they go in there, so yeah, watch this, right? There, see, yep, all that's gone. Now there's still quite a bit of crud touching these chips here. And I like to do this before I put caps on because there's less stuff in the way, but yeah, look at this. Oof. Yummy. That in the trash. Only the stupid comments. That's pedantic, as Bruce kindly put it. I was just caught some of the Pixar movie Monsters Incorporated on TV, and you got the people who do the trash. They talk like this, like the pencil-necked geeks, you know, and like the nerd and or the geek and the teenager geek in The Simpsons. It's just a silly voice. So we're getting all the green bits off these chips, or at least as much as we can. Because I have a feeling we're going to try and power this machine on tonight. Whether it likes it or not, an attempt will be made. And hopefully we can get it all up and running again. Huh? Alright, so I think I got the worst of it. Not perfect, but at least I don't see anything bridging anything anymore, and we'll go through and inspect everything later. But let's try and get some new caps on here before it gets too late. How about that? Yeah, do not eat this stuff. Yuck, 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 yuck. Uncle worked on... my uncle worked at IBM from the 60s to the 2000s. Our first PC was a handed-down PC or XT that was like a decade old even then, early 90s. Very cool. That's very cool. Oh, you're very welcome, Dave. I know sometimes it's a little problematic to try and follow instructions during a stream. That's why I always print them out. Of course, I didn't really follow the instructions correctly when I tried to do mine, and I sort of ended up in a wee bit of trouble. But no worries, Dave. Always happy to have out there, but hopefully your Mac is very happy with its new OpenCore setup. Yes, I don't want any smoke when this power's on either. So I'm just cleaning up this area. You can see there's some corrosion there that was eating into the board. I'm just cleaning up where we're going to remove the solder. It just helps when there's less gunk around there, so we don't run into too much trouble when we're trying to get things in good shape. Alright, excellent. So, that's good on the bottom. Alright, so, we don't have too much here. But let's get any of that old solder removed from this logic board. 7 out of 10 scund rating. Bruce, I'd be very worried to see what's higher than that. I don't want to do that. What is the hardest board to fix and recap? Well, I will say that the SE30, the Macintosh SE30, can be the most problematic is one of the most problematic I've experienced. And I would say it is the most problematic I've experienced because this is the board I see most often. I've had more SE30s come across my bench, I think, or it's a tie with something like a Mac Classic. And the reason the SE30 is problematic is because, like many of the compact Macs, there's just a lot of components on there, but especially the SE30, where the battery is placed, you can see it's right here. Not that the batteries on other machines are placed too differently, but it seems like, in particular, for this particular machine, it just seems to have more problems than most. And it's the placement of, you know, the row of UE, UE8, UED8, etc. chips. It's also just the way that these machines are coveted. People love these things. They tend to hold on to them more, and they tend to want to get them fixed. If this was like a Mac Classic or something, you know, for the price that those machines sometimes go for, people would just be like, no, I'll just get another one. You know, they're not going to pay, you know, $85, you know, $100, something like that, to get it fully recapped and tested and everything like that. Especially with trace repairs and all that fun stuff. You know, it might not be worth it to somebody. So I would say these can be the most problematic. Now, I've had some where I just pulled off the caps, put new ones on, and they work beautifully. Others needed some fuses replaced. Others needed some trace repairs and stuff like that. but generally speaking, these can sometimes be problematic. Now, I have not done a lot of PowerPC Macs. In fact, I don't think I've recapped any PowerPC Macs, at least not that I can remember off the top of my head. But I'm sure they each have their own challenge. Yeah, so we're going to put some more stuff on here. We're going to clean these up before we put fresh solder on there. And these could use some flux as we're cleaning this up as well. It's just how dry and crusty those caps were. This really did not help anything here. Sorry, just scrolling up here. Oh, the C64. Oh, yeah, that C64 was rough. Is it necessary to recap a 9600 at this point? I would say no. You want to monitor it, you want to store it without the battery, but I would say you probably do not have to worry too much about the caps in that. One day, yes, you'll likely need to replace them, but since that machine is relatively young compared to these, I would say you generally should not have to really worry about that. You want to be careful, you want to make sure you're storing it correctly, you want to make sure the battery is removed, and if you do see anything leaking, you want to be aware of it. But by and large, you should be okay with those late generation Power Macs. I'm seeing some reports of people with earlier Power Macs having trouble, but hopefully those are isolated incidents. I mean, it all depends. All depends. The machine, how it was stored, etc. The 6-bit guy doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, that's who I followed in 2017 when I did my first recapping video. And I twisted the caps off of my poor Macintosh 2CX. And, yeah, that was a mistake. It was a big mistake. But we all learn. And I know people swear by twisting caps off. I don't do it. I've seen enough of it go bad to not do it. Just know that if you send me boards that have ripped off caps, it certainly costs more than it would to just do a standard board where somebody has not done that and screwed things up already. That's just the truth of it. So I'm just mixing in some new solder with the old solder here because these were a little crusty. And yes, it sort of feels silly sometimes adding new solder to something you're trying to remove solder from. But it helps get some of the dirt off. You can sort of see it floating around in the flux. And to make sure those new caps that we're going to put on will be nice and happy with these solder pads. Eeps to everyone! Hello, Mike. Yeah, if you're going to go ahead and twist the caps off, maybe your board should be broken. I mean, I do not wish anybody any misfortune with their computers. That's not kind. But all I'm saying is you got to be smart about the way you do things. There's a reason why people don't do them. Twist them off. You could rip the whole pad off. You could rip the trace off. You could cause some nasty damage. And you don't want to do that, especially to an older board. I mean, some of these boards are younger. They are a little easier to manage. They could take the abuse. Some of them can't. Some of them are just going to be like, nope, screw you. And a bunch of components will just fly off the board. And be like, whee! Alright, so we're almost done taking all the stuff off of here. Then we're going to just take a look at the board and make sure we don't have any broken traces or anything. And if we're good to go, then we're going to start putting caps on. We do have an exposed thing there. We're going to take care of that. Shouldn't be too hard. That generally looks okay. And this one we're going to have to clean up a little bit. Caps have feelings too, you know. And I was going to try and think of a silly song to sing about caps having feelings, but I couldn't think of one. So you're all spared. You're welcome. Watch Mac84 butcher the classics in this 3 Laserdisc set of Mac84 Sings. Have such classics as remove those capacitors, get those batteries out, and stop sending me broken boards that you've attempted to do yourself and claim that they're brand new. All these can be had for a low price of $59.95. Call now. I don't think I know another verse of that song, and I don't think a lot of people do, because they just remember the main part there. Alright, so let's take a look at this board, now that it is somewhat clean, and again, we are going to have to thoroughly clean this in the ultrasonic cleaner to get it looking all nice and pretty again. But due to the condition of this board, there are some usual suspect spots that I do check on these boards to ensure that nothing is going wrong. And I'm going to show you those because they are good to know, especially if you haven't recapped one of these before. It's good to keep a note of. So, next to these 3 caps up here by the power connector, there are a few traces that go to these chips that sometimes get just destroyed. And so we're going to follow some. So this trace here, this one right above these that comes down at an angle, this connects to this leg here. And it looks like it's making a good connection, so that's all well and good. But sometimes this trace will be corroded and will not be making a connection. This line here that goes down and over here, it touches this pin. Sometimes it does not do that, so you want to make sure that that is making a connection. We still have some green gunk on here. Gotta get as much of that off as we can. Not really seeing any bad traces, which is good. I mean, there is evidence of leaking, obviously, but only in minor spots have we seen corrosion of the board. So Sean sent this to us just in time, it seems. It could have been a lot worse. There's a lot of little areas we'll have to put a dab of UV solder mask on, but they don't seem to be directly by the caps. So we can do that at a later time. But yeah, you can just see that all that gold gunk just got right off of this chip, and we're going to do that right here. So watch, look at this. Some of these pins have this goldish coloring, and we're going to get that all away. So that is much cleaner than it was a few seconds ago. That's just some isopropyl alcohol and a little cotton swab here. That is helping us greatly. 65 people watching. Well, hello everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, I would greatly appreciate you consider subscribing. We're going to do some fun giveaway at 7,000 subscribers, and we're almost there, so please consider doing so. Greatly appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up, a like, if you will. In the wise words of Brankus Creations, said completely ironically, smash that like button. I cannot do it nearly as good as he does, but now I owe him anyway for his royalties. But thank you very much for tuning in. This was a rare night where we had a double stream. Before we were playing a game of What's in the Box? And then we recapped a Macintosh LC3 for the birthday boy Apache Thunder. Thank you very much for that. It was a fun little LC3 to do. Alright, so let's try and get some fresh caps on this board. What do you say? What do you say? Let's do it. After 3 years, Jay finally subscribes. Yeah, I've been doing this since sometime in 2017. My goodness. Well, his Mac will sing him happy birthday when it's sent back. I assure you. Okay, so when you hit 7,000, I will send you a present. Well, thank you. Awesome. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to open up a very excellent website here, and that is Recap a Mac, and that is created by my wonderful friend Bruce from Brankus Creations. And what we're going to do is we're going to show that on the screen right now because I want to show you exactly why I love this website. So this is recapamac.com. This is my friend Bruce's website. You go to resources here, and you're going to get recapping guides for pretty much every 68K Mac. We're going to go right down here to the SE30. Now click on that. And here we go. We have a visual guide of where these replacement capacitors go. We have a little key that tells you how many of each capacitor you need. And then we have very handy links that go directly to Mouser.com where you could purchase these particular capacitors. Very, very handy. So Bruce has an excellent website here. If you are into this stuff whatsoever, you want to do it yourself, or you're just curious about the parts you need, I would highly suggest you go and check this out. This is the one recapping resource I use. The guides are easy to follow. It keeps them updated. Very cool stuff. So I'm going to be leaving this open as I continue with this stream because it is an invaluable resource for me. Alright, so let's continue and get those caps ready to put on this board. Yay, my website! It should be public. I listed it public. Dave, if you refresh your browser, let me know if it now says that it's public. It should be. Hopefully it is. Alright, let's get our little box of capacitors here and make sure that we have all that we need to get this going. We need 10 47 microfarad and 1 microfarad 50 volt. 10 of the 47 microfarad 16 volt, 1 of the 1 microfarad 50 volt, 1 of the 220 microfarad 16 volt, that's axial, and then we have another axial that's a 470 microfarad 16 volt. So there we go. Alright, so let's get our little where'd our box go? Well, here's one of them. So these are the wrong ones. We don't need those. We do need these guys here. So we'll need 10 of these. These are 47 microfarad 16 volts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make sure we got that right. Yes, we do. Excellent. So let's cut those off. I thought I ordered a lot more of these, but I mean they are in a tight little wound ball here. Okay, great. Okay, alright, so we got some of those. What else do we need? We need 1 microfarad 50 volt. We have some axials here. We'll probably do the axials on another stream just because they generally do not need to be replaced. And we will replace them, but generally we don't really have to worry about it. I actually might be out of... Am I out of the... No, I think I got some recently. Because I was looking at them when Mike was over. 1 microfarad 50 volt capacitor. Capacitor? However you want to pronounce it. You're probably doing it better than I am. Where'd the box go? Where'd the box go? That's the other box. Too many boxes! Too many boxes. Let's see, these are... Oh, these are... No, what are these? These are in the wrong baggie, that's what these are, and these are not USB connectors. They're little capacitors. And they have 0 markings on them. So, those will be fun. Wait, do they have markings on them? Hold, please. I am doing well, Shagate Media. Yes, there is very, very small writing on them. Well, let's figure out what these are. Because my good pal Bruce is here, so even if I fail the sanity test here, I have friends in high places who tell me what things are. Because they smarter. Alright, let's see what this little guy is. What is this? What is this? It's a little capacitor of some sort? I don't know. I can't even make out the text. It's not like printed 100%. It looks like it says 10. Hold on, let me move it down slightly. Oh, Bruce. Help! Alright, so this looks like it says A10. It doesn't look like a 6, but it's close enough. 6C2513. Something along those lines. It looks Russian. I know. I think it's just this particular markings of how they print these. Let's take a look at another one. Maybe that's clearer. Nope. Same business. Yeah, get that out of the way. Yeah, so not exactly sure about that. Yeah, that is something. And all the comments from now on will be like, that's exactly this thing. And I'll be like, yeah, I didn't know that at the time. But they'll tell me. Oh, they'll tell me. Yeah, that looks like it's A106C 20513. That's the best guess there. So I don't know if that's going to be what we need. I did order a huge variety of different 1 microfarad 50 volt capacitors. So I do have a suspicion that that's what that is, but I'm not entirely sure. So while you guys ponder about that, let's see what else I got here. That's a different thing. That's a different thing. We were just looking at this capacitor, Bruce, and trying to wonder what value it is. I think it's a 1 microfarad 50 volt, but I'm not sure. And the markings look like it says like A10-6C20513. Not entirely sure. I'll leave that up on the screen for a little bit as I rummage around. So it's a 10 microfarad then. Well, then that's not exactly what we're looking for. But I can mark that down here. Where's my marker here? Get that. I'm pretty sure nobody is stenciling those in. And you could please take the caps lock off there. You're coming off as a way you might not intend to. I'm pretty sure those are all printed via machine. And that pen doesn't work, so I'm going to put it back just to cause me more grief in the future. Sorry, we're going to put caps on very, very shortly. Those are probably 10 microfarads, 16 volts. So let's go back in the little pouch there. All right. And let's look for the rest of the... So we just need 1 microfarad 50. That's all we are looking for. Here are the axial ones, so we have those when we need them. Yeah, so what we're gonna have to come back to that, but let's start these, and then when we get there, we get there. How about that? Don't want to waste any more time. We've got plenty of caps to put on. Yeah, you gotta calm down. The moderators in my chat do not mess around, and they will mute you or ban you from the channel. So please be polite, please be kind. And we'll all get through this together. Alright, so the first caps that are going on the board are going to be in this lovely little cluster here, and that's where that 1 microfarad 50 volt capacitor is that we do not have at the moment. So we're just going to put down what we have. And we're going to try and do this before our good friend Sean falls asleep. For the right price. Oh boy. Alright, so we have our caps here. Let's put the first one into place. So these are a little bit smaller. These are the ones I like to order because they fit pretty well in these spaces. You get a little extra room to work with, which makes the things a little easier. He's probably sleeping. Like, I'll catch this later. I'll have my people get back to me on how he's doing. Yeah, it's 11 p.m. It's pretty late, so I'm sure you gotta get up for work tomorrow. I do. But I'm very curious if what progress we can make on this tonight. So, let's see. Helps if you hold the tweezers the right way up. Also helps if you have enough solder on the end of your soldering iron. Alright, now we get to the other side of these. I'll be fixing a dream on my third stream. Okay. Those are all good. So the next 4716 is right here. So I'm going to put that there. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. I know we've been streaming for quite a while, but I appreciate those of you who are still sticking around, especially those from the previous stream. My hat's off to you. That is dedication. And yes, there's a little bit of copper just sitting around there. We will put some UV solder mask on that and tidy that up afterwards. But for now, we're just getting these caps in a good spot. Okay, and then we have two down here. Now on the SE30 board, there's two revisions to this. Sometimes the capacitor is above the ROM sim, like it is here. You can see that it is right above the ROM sim. And sometimes it is below it, like in that area. But on this one, the capacitor is here above the ROM sim. So you just want to be careful, of course, because there's a lot of plastic around here. My fan was pointed in the wrong way for a second, and that was very unpleasant. Retrotech, you just keep making up those prizes in your mind. I am not responsible for your disappointment. If I had a magic wand and I could give everybody a G4 cube, I'd consider it. But I do not. Ready? Alright, we have 4 of these 47 microfarad capacitors left, and then we have the one that we have to look for, and then we have our axial capacitors here. Stick one side by Mike. You might have a better chance of that. Oh boy. Alright, so this is a fun row to do because it's right next to the plastic, so of course we have to be careful. That's another reason why I prefer to use these slightly smaller capacitors here. This makes my job a little easier. They're about the same price, so it's not a cost issue or anything, it's just a preference. And don't forget, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, as always, I will be on the Mac84 podcast, streaming live on YouTube. So if you can't get enough Macintosh talk and the sound of my lovely voice, well, the Mac84 podcast streams every Thursday night live on YouTube. So 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, the Mac84 podcast. Please give us a subscribe. My friends Bruce, Greg, sometimes the other Greg, Mike, Jay, and Dana, and sometimes some other guests join us as well. We have a lot of geeky fun, and we'll probably, maybe, kind of have a guest as well. So, always a fun thing we do. Every Thursday, talk about recent Apple stuff, talk about modern Apple stuff, talk about news, give you some tips and tricks dealing with your machines, whether it be a 68K Mac, PowerPC, and Intel, etc. Ooh, this one doesn't want it. There it goes. Didn't want to go. Well, let's be clear. It's not necessarily the place that the caps were manufactured. It's the age of the capacitors. I don't care if a capacitor was made in China, in Japan, in the US, in Canada, in Mexico. The age of the capacitor is the problem, not necessarily its origin. Now, of course, if that particular factory was using questionable parts or parts that had an incorrect formula, then yes, that sucks. But it's, it happens. There was a huge capacitor plague. Even Apple's products were part of it. And it just happens. And this stuff, they age. Very interesting to see how the Intel Macs are going. I know there are some MacBook Pros and the mobile machines that unfortunately have, well, let's just say there are intricacies in their design which can cause to them failing. I'm not going to say it was planned or anything, but I would say that depending on where components are placed and what their ratings are, etc., you could run into issues, and some people are already finding that with some of the MacBook Pros, and things heat up and they're not very flexible, etc. Blah. Canadian caps never fail. You take that back. Alright, so let me take a look at this board. Let's switch over to a slightly different view here. Gonna take a look at this with my eyes. Positive, 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 positive. Excellent. So all the caps except one have been replaced. I know I purchased some of those. I know I just saw some of them. They might be... Oh, here. There's a whole bag of other caps here. So let's just see. There's a 16 volt, 6.3, 25, 35, 10 picofarad. Is 10 picofarad 1 microfarad? .1 UF. No, I think the other one's 0.1 UF as well. Yeah, these are 0.1 UF. Those are not what we need. Yeah, my 50 volt 1 microfarad bag is empty. I have to order new ones. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Let's see if we could... No worries, Mozam. I greatly appreciate it. Free training session. Gladly appreciate anybody who tunes in and gets some knowledge out of this. Thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your evening or day or wherever it is, wherever you are. Yes, here we go. 50 volt, 1 microfarad. My last 3. I found them. I have to order more. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat, Mozam. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Eep. Have a good one. Alright, I'm going to take a picture of this bag so I know exactly which ones to order, because these are the small ones that I like. They fit well on these boards. Eep! Alright, so let's get that out of there, and this will be the last cap we need to put on before we test, because generally speaking, those axials are not really that problematic. But let's put this little guy on there. And let's go back to the microscope view so everyone can see what the heck I'm doing. And then we're going to give this board a test. And see if it wants to work or not. All right. Yeah, using vintage computers, well, there's a bunch of things you could do. You could use them for common tasks, like replying to email or writing and stuff like that. Obviously, it greatly depends on the work that you do, if you're able to use it for your daily work, etc. But there are ways to shoehorn it in there, even if it's a bit antiquated and silly. Some of us like that. Alright, so I think this board is ready to be tested. My Quadra runs SimCity all day. That's an excellent use for that. I am noticing some of these chips are very brown and yucky on the edge of this board here, so I'm going to just do some scrubbing here before we test it. Because look at these. Yuck. We don't want anything shorting out or getting disgusting or anything like that, so the more cleaning we do right now, the better. And this isopropyl alcohol that we're scrubbing onto these chips dries very quick, which is good. And speaking of chips, let's take a look at these. Yeah, these could all be cleaned a little bit. This computer is definitely having its spa day, whether it likes it or not. Yeah, using a typewriter is always a good practice, even just for your typing skills and such. I got a word processor recently, and yes, the keyboard layout is slightly different, and it's a little antiquated, and it has some things that need to be fixed on it. But my goodness, it's kind of fun to use and kind of fun to type on. And I know not everybody is of the same opinion. Everyone has different preferences. Some people need spell check when they're typing. I certainly do for certain things. It's like, how do you spell that word? It's easier to do on a modern system sometimes. All right, so someone's logged in on the Mac84 account. You logged in on the Mac84. This is a horrible, 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 horrible Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, but apparently some of my fans like it. So I'm using the little fan here just to help dry some of the isopropyl alcohol that we put on the board. I'm also using a Q-tip just to collect any of the excess flux from some of the caps that we put on. And then it's ready to test this guy. What do you guys think? Are you thinking this is going to chime? We're going to have the dreaded zebra stripes? Let's hope not. I didn't really see any bad traces on this board. I mean, I wasn't really looking too much in detail. But I've certainly seen worse as far as traces go. This was probably one of the dirtiest boards I've seen. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had to go ahead and fix some of the UE8, UF8, UG8, etc. Those chips there. Would not be surprised at all if we had to go ahead and look into those to see if there was any issues there. However, not a bad reconditioning of this board, I would say. Q-tip is the name of a rapper? My goodness. My bid is $2. Watch me be outbid. Alright, I'm going to go grab the chassis for the Macintosh SE that I have. It'll work fine with an SE30. I have to move some of these bins out of my way. Otherwise, I won't be able to get to that Macintosh SE30. All right, let me go grab that. Here's our lovely tester unit. I'll make room on the workbench here to bring that into frame. All right, and we're gonna grab our second camera here. It'll be much easier for you to see the computer with this camera. Let me lower this a little bit. Okay, so let's just get this set up here. Alright, so let's switch cameras so you can see what I'm doing here. I'll bring that a little bit closer. There's very close quarters here. I should have moved the camera without it being on, so you wouldn't get dizzy. Sorry. Alright, so here's the Macintosh SE30 that we have. We're going to be testing this out, seeing if it wants to work. The beige tower behind me, you're going to have to be more specific. There's a lot of beige towers behind me. Oh, I have a problem. Okay, so we're going to make sure everything is plugged in correctly here. Now, I do have a bit of an extension on the back of this Macintosh SE30. It's just a simple ATX cable that is cut, and that just makes it easier for me to test this without plugging the board into the machine. I know Bruce has followed my suggestion on that, and he was very happy because it saves a lot of time and frustration getting that thing in and out. Next to the CRT, you'll have to be more descriptive. No, that's a Quadra 800. It's a lovely Macintosh. Alright, so we are going to put in those memory modules, and we're going to put in the ROM sim. So let's get this all set up here. I hope it works as well. Just for the fact that I don't want to keep having to reseat these memory modules into these plastic clips and have to take them out. It's worse enough that that's the ROM sim. It's worse enough that I have to put them in and then take them out for the ultrasonic clean and all that stuff. But I'm pretty confident just because other than the UE8 chips and those things, really I didn't see anything that was too bad. Alright, so the yellow one goes there. So I have these little extensions for the speaker. So if it does a nice happy chime, we all get to hear it. So what do you guys think? Is this going to work? Or is it beyond working right now because it is simply cursed? I mean, who knows? Although an hour and 39 minutes for a cursed Macintosh SE is not bad at all, if I do say so myself. Which I do, because I just said so myself. Okay. Let's arrange this slightly. Make sure nothing like that is touching things it shouldn't. Let's get the... What else do we have here? Have our floppy MU adapter on standby. Yes, when I'm not streaming, I shall. I guess I could do it now. What's so important? Yeah, I'll do that later. Alright, so everything's set up there. All we are doing is gonna a quick test here to see if we get anything on the screen and if this Macintosh is happy. What do you guys say? Do you think it's gonna work? Yes? No? Maybe so? I hope it'll work. I think it'll increase our chances if nothing is plugged into the back in a bad way. Alright, let's plug her in. No? Thanks for your confidence. Greatly appreciate it. Alright. I think we're all ready. Make sure nothing's touching this. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ah, we got the sad Mac chimes. Let's see if we get an image. Oh, we got the dreaded SEMA CMAC. Ooh. Yeah, this is a pain in the butt. That happens, though. Could just need an ultrasonic clean. Could be one of those UE8, UF8, those lovely chips. But fully expect that on a machine that was looking as bad as this. I mean, my goodness. What I am going to do... I didn't break it even more. What I am going to do is swap out the... Now, I don't think the ROM sim is really going to have anything to do with it, but we're going to do it anyway, because I have one right here. I have my Big Mess of Wires ROM sim. Sometimes... Oh, that's right. I just remembered about the memory thing as Bruce was typing it. These machines are very unhappy if you do not have all the memory slots full and that type of memory in here. So let's slam in our Big Mess of Wires ROM sim to get around that limitation and see if that sad Mac chime goes away. And if it does, then that'll tell us that this machine is working. So let's... This ROM sim is a little bit different shaped. There we go. Alright, let's try it again. Ah! It chimed! And looky there. Hey! Thank you for a reminder, Bruce. So I'm like, where have I seen this before? Detected 64 megabytes of memory. And look at it go. Ha ha! That's fantastic. Yeah, so for these machines, if you're using the stock ROM and you have 4 16 megabyte modules, you do need 4 1 megabyte modules to even everything out. I have actually had this hang here once in a while. Let me do the other option here. And this thing will need an ultrasonic clean anyway, just to make sure that everything's happy and such. But the mouse is going. That's good. Be gone, cursed demon! No, he could get his own big mess of wire ROM sim. I know he has one already, but... Yeah, it seems to be hanging here. I've had this happen before. And I'm not entirely sure what the issue was. I don't have any RAM just sitting around here that I could... Well, I do. It's right here. Now, let's do that. Let's get rid of some of the variables here. I have some lovely memory right here. That's in my SC30. I think it's 1 meg. I'm going to take that out, put in the stock ROM, boot off a floppy, and see what happens. Because I have had that happen before. Could just be the memories, you know, a little wobbly or whatever, but... But I'd say this machine is much happier than it was previously. And this one memory socket, there we go. Did not want to bliss it. Okay, so let's do this. Excellent. And let's pop in... Where did I put that? Did I move it somewhere? The original ROM sim that I just took out of here. Where did it go? Where did it go? It was just here. There it is. Alright, let's see if this goes to a flashing question mark. And then we'll try and boot off of our floppy MU adapter here. Alright, let's give it a go. Yes, when needed, I do use deoxit. Let's see if it wants to boot up. There we go, we got a happy Mac. I like your suggestion, Justin. Ship it back in a different box just in case the box has become cursed. So this is booting off of a System 6.08 installer disk. And look at that. There we go. We have a Macintosh SE with a total of 4 megabytes of memory. I call that a recap Mac and a success. I'll still do those axial caps another night, and I have to tidy up some things with the ultrasonic cleaner and put some UV mask on it, but fantastic. I am very satisfied with that, and I'm going to take a photo of this so I could put it on the social medias, as the kids say. I know the kids don't say that, but I say it. Fantastic. All right. I, for one, am proud. Well, thank you very much. I'm very satisfied as well. So let's shut this machine down and switch that off. And look at that. We recapped 2 Macs tonight, and it's not even midnight yet. My goodness. But that was much more than I intended to do today. I was just going to do a cheap stream of what's in the box. And, of course, that escalated quickly. But... Thank you, everybody. I'm glad that everyone is satisfied with the outcome. I am too. Very, very happy to see these boards get saved. There are not many of them left out there, so it's very nice when we do get to revive these, especially ones in such questionable shape. My goodness. But yeah, that's that's about it for tonight. Don't forget Mac Yak is tomorrow, so tune into the Mac Yak YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. And, oh, well, thank you very much, Aaron. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Yep. Thank you very much for the super chat. And thank you, everybody, for the super chats tonight. My goodness, this stream and the last one, everyone was very generous. All of those funds go directly towards helping the channel. So whether that's buying new gear or buying supplies like capacitors or cool things like this floppy MU that help me test things, really, without that support, I would not be able to do the type of videos that I do. I do have a lot of cool stuff coming up, pre-recorded things. That's why these two lovely machines are hanging out here. Well, you can't really see them, but that Performa 550, and there's a Color Classic next to it. So that stuff is going to be played around with. And there's another Color Classic hiding right over there. Although that one doesn't work. That one's problematic. But I didn't pay too much for it, so that's okay. We can maybe get that to work. But yes, the hours of... oh my goodness. I did not take a look at the drive that you sent yet, Apache Thunder. That is currently in a non-cursed location, although maybe that is now cursed. But I will be sure to look at that sooner or later. I haven't even attempted one of those drives yet, but I should as well. Buffering with lag. Hopefully that... I saw that happen too on the thing. It buffered a little bit. Hopefully we're back. If not, well, I'm getting ready to end the stream anyway. But I wanted to thank everybody so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has supported me on Patreon. That is greatly appreciated. It really does help me understand what you guys like, what content that you guys respond to, and all that stuff. So, it's the curse. My goodness. Well, let's end the stream before we get any more curses. Thank you very much for everybody who just subscribed to the channel today. Thank you, everyone who has been watching from Sean's links from Action Retro. If he sent you here, give me a thumbs up in the comment section and let me know. And like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to catch more videos, subscribing to this channel is the way to do that. But that's about it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to hit that end stream button, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Bye!